Okay, I think this thing is running. My workspace is erased. Let's erase it. Okay, so before I talk about these plots, I'm going to pull up the features just so you can see. So what I'm trying to show here is what we're loading from that file. And there's two cells in it. And these correspond to the samples. These are the 14 files that are our soldier samples. Soldier 0, the reference soldier is the first one in there. I'll give you an example. So here is the features, which are for the 14 samples in the soldiers file. If I wanted to see, like, if you remember, the first 35 is the it's the mean of, let me get this back up so I can look at it. So you had 100 frames, and over time, over those overlapping things, you took the mean of all of those all the way across for the ZCR. So the first 35 are all the features that you're going to take the mean of. So this one is ZCR, this is energy entropy. I'm looking at my file here, spectral centroid for value, and then spread. All right, so that's that. They're the same, and also I want to show you that when you are pulling one, so like this is the features for mean ZCR. That's the first one. You can see up here is showing you how to select that. All right, so it's one all the way across the board, and then the all columns at the very end. If you were to pull like this would be all rows, but we're not interested in a single file, and we're trying to, per file, what is a certain value. So I'm going to close all these. So then I'm going to pull up this plot. So let's look at this for a second. So just looking at the mean ZCR per file, and we're going to do the blue ones as our 14 soldiers, and our 44 red ones are the gameplay samples. And so here is, I went back to that paper, the Microsoft guy, the Chinese dude, and I'm looking at what he picked out a whole bunch of features that he was looking at, and some of them were more contrived, but these are like the three base ones. So let's just, of the ones that this other author was doing. So let's just look at that for a second. And so you can kind of see there's a max value out here. They're kind of centered around between 0 and 2. And if you were to count these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's in the value of 0 and 2. So a mean ZCR between 0 and 2, hey, look at it, there's 11. You could do the same thing for the 44 samples. And, this is, it's not really a good test, but I'm just trying to see, like, you want to be able to understand what's in that cell, right? What the data is. There's no variables associated with these things, really, because they're all matrices. Once again, the mean ZCR bin for him, if you were to count between, say, 0 and 0.5. So this is 1, 0.5 be there. If you could draw, and you can draw a graph, you could count those, but that's this. If you just want to look at them versus one another to kind of see, you're looking at mean ZCR, mean ZCR. The more that you have at a certain spot, you can kind of see like a darkness, whatever, so there's more of them, and that are kind of around that value. But it's kind of weird looking at just a point, right? So we've got 3 of them here. Remember, there's 210 features per file, so let's just look at this. And I probably want to slide this over a little bit so we can see something here as well. So let's we can turn this into a rotating thing. So let's rotate it. This is a 3D plot of energy, ZCR, and flux, and just some samples. Because later we're going to do like nearest neighbor, but let's just kind of get an idea of if we were to do like a different kind of classification. Could we draw a plane between things? Let's see, but that's energy versus ZCR. So let's kind of look at this again. We've turned it on its side, so we're only looking at 2. For the blue, our mean ZCR we said earlier was between 0 and 2. And if we look between 0 and 2, we should count that 11 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? So that agrees. But also, look at this. If just on this one thing alone, or these 2 things alone, if we were to say, let's say that any ZCR that's between 0.5 and 2, we're going to just call that a soldier sample, right? We're going to classify it. We have some errors, right? Some of these are that we definitely know are soldier related are down in this other mix, and then some of the ones which are gameplay are up here as well, right? So that, it wouldn't be perfect if we were just going to look at that. We get some false negatives and false positives. But in reality, we're not going to do that. We're going to look at a lot of features, right? And in fact, if we were to kind of like see, could we draw a plane through at least just 3 of these? Well, if we were, I'd probably draw it this way, maybe like through here. And then I would get even, with 3 features, I would get a more separation. I'd still have a couple of false positives and negatives, but, like that. Alright, so that's that.